The bank manager told me my account had been frozen because I'd been declared legally incompetent. I was 68 years old, in perfect health, and I'd just returned from a photography trip to Iceland. What my stepson did know when he orchestrated this fraud was that I'd been a federal prosecutor for 30 years, and I knew exactly how to destroy him. Before we continue, make sure you subscribe, like, and share this story, because what happens next will leave you absolutely stunned. I'm sorry, Miss Whitmore, but your account has been restricted, the bank manager, Susan Chun said, her voice carefully neutral. According to our records, you've been declared legally incompetent. Your stepson, Bradley Whitmore, has full power of attorney and conservatorship over your finances. I stood at the counter of First National Bank in Portland, Oregon, my debit card in hand, trying to process what she'd just said. That's impossible. I never signed a power of attorney. I've never been declared incompetent. Susan's discomfort was visible. The documents were filed 3 months ago. Court order from Multnomah County. Medical certification from Dr. Howard Brennan stating you suffer from advanced dementia and are unable to manage your affairs. Dr. Brennan? I've never heard of him. Who's my doctor? According to the file, Dr. Brennan evaluated you and determined. I've never met a Dr. Brennan. My physician is Dr. Patricia Gomez. I just had my annual physical 6 weeks ago. I'm in perfect health. Susan pulled up documents on her computer, her expression growing more concerned. Miss Whitmore, I think you need to speak with an attorney. These are court-sealed documents. I legally can't give you access to your own accounts. How much money are we talking about? She hesitated. I can't disclose that without proper authorization. How much was in my accounts 3 months ago versus now? Another pause. 3 months ago, your combined accounts held approximately $2.3 million. Currently, they hold $47,000. My vision blurred. Where did $2.2 million go? Transfers authorized by Mr. Whitmore as your legal guardian. To his personal accounts, to investment accounts in his name, to various purchases. He stole my money. He had legal authority, based on forged documents. My voice rose, and other customers turned to look. I lowered it, forcing calm. Susan, I was a federal prosecutor for 30 years. I know fraud when I see it. My stepson has orchestrated a guardianship scam. Can you print everything you just showed me? I can't provide you with documents since you're listed as incompetent. Then I'm calling my attorney right now. Don't let Bradley make any more transfers. I called my attorney, Margaret Silva, from the parking lot. Victoria, I thought you were in Iceland. I just got back. Margaret, someone has declared me legally incompetent and taken control of my finances. What? I explained the situation, the power of attorney, the conservatorship, the missing $2.2 million. Margaret was silent for a beat. This is elder fraud. Who has guardianship? My stepson, Bradley. Your late husband's son, the one who's unemployed? Yes, Margaret. I never went to court. I never signed anything. I was in Iceland for a month on a photography trip. How could there be a court proceeding without me present? There can't, unless did Bradley claim you were incapacitated and couldn't attend? Apparently he had a Dr. Brennan certify that I have advanced dementia. Do you? Margaret, I just spent a month traveling independently through Iceland. I hiked glaciers, I drove a rental car. I used 3 different currencies and spoke enough Icelandic to get by. Do I sound demented? No, you sound like someone who's been the victim of guardianship fraud. This is serious, Victoria. We need to file an emergency motion immediately. But first, we need documentation. The bank won't give me anything because I'm listed as incompetent. Then we get a court order. I'll file an emergency petition to set aside the guardianship based on fraud. We'll need your medical records from Dr. Gomez. We'll need proof you were out of the country during the supposed court proceedings. And we need to freeze any remaining assets before Bradley can drain them completely. He's already taken $2.2 million. Margaret's sharp intake of breath told me she understood the severity. I'll file today. Meet me at my office in an hour. Bring everything: passport, medical records, bank statements, anything showing you're competent, and this is fraud. At Margaret's office, we built the case. My passport showed I'd left for Iceland 3 days before the supposed court hearing declaring me incompetent. My medical records from Dr. Gomez showed perfect cognitive function. D even done a dementia screening as part of my annual physical and scored perfectly. This Dr. Brennan, Margaret said, pulling up Oregon medical licensing records. He's licensed, but look at his specialty. I read over her shoulder. Sports medicine. Why would a sports medicine doctor evaluate me for dementia? Because he probably didn't. Bradley likely paid him to sign paperwork he never actually evaluated you for. That's fraud. How did Bradley even do this? Don't I have to be present for a guardianship proceeding? Normally, yes. But if someone claims the person is so incapacitated they can't participate, and if they have medical documentation supporting it, courts can proceed without the ward present, especially if they claim the person couldn't travel due to health reasons. But I was in Iceland. I wasn't incapacitated. I was hiking. I know, and we'll prove it. But Victoria, these cases are hard to reverse. Guardianship fraud is a massive problem, especially targeting older adults. Courts are supposed to have safeguards, but they can be manipulated by people who know the system. I know the system. I was a prosecutor. Then you know how to build a case. Let's start with Bradley's finances. Has he made any large purchases recently? I thought about it. I don't know. I've been traveling. Before that, I hadn't seen him in 6 months. We were never close. His father died 8 years ago, and Bradley and I maintained polite distance. What about his financial situation? The last I heard, he was unemployed. Again, he's 43 and has never held a job longer than 2 years. His father left him some money, but Bradley burned through it. Margaret made notes. So he had motive. He's broke, you're wealthy, and you're traveling alone frequently. He saw an opportunity. How do we prove he forged the documents? We get your signature analyzed. We depose Dr. Brennan and put him under oath about whether he actually examined you. We subpoena Bradley's financial records and show the money trail. And we file criminal charges for forgery, fraud, and financial exploitation of a vulnerable adult. I'm not vulnerable. The law considers anyone over 65 potentially vulnerable to financial exploitation. It actually works in our favor here. The penalties are more severe. The emergency hearing was scheduled for 5 days later. In the meantime, Margaret got a temporary restraining order preventing Bradley from accessing my remaining funds. Bradley showed up at my house the day after I filed the motion. I watched through my security camera as he rang the doorbell repeatedly, then started banging on the door. Victoria, open up. We need to talk, I called Margaret. He's at my house. What do I do? Don't open the door. Record everything. If he makes threats, call the police. I activated my doorbell camera's recording feature. Bradley's face filled the screen. Victoria, I know you're in there. Your lawyer filed some ridiculous motion claiming I committed fraud. That's insane. I have legal guardianship because you're sick. You need help. You can't even remember signing the power of attorney. I never signed it. I called through the door without opening it. Yes, you did. Last December, remember? You were confused and I took you to the lawyer and you signed everything. I was in Iceland last December. Try again. Silence. No, that was after you got back. You were jet-lagged and confused. I have passport stamps, Bradley. I have photos time-stamped from my camera. I have credit card receipts from Reykjavik dated the same day you supposedly took me to court. You're lying. You're confused. This is exactly why you need a guardian. I'm a former federal prosecutor. I know fraud when I see it. And I know you forged my signature, hired a doctor who never examined me, and took me to court while I was out of the country. His expression shifted from fake concern to something harder. You can't prove that. Actually, I can. See you in court, Bradley. I closed the camera app and called the police to file a report about the harassment. The emergency hearing was before Judge Patricia Yamamoto, a no-nonsense jurist I'd actually tried cases in front of during my prosecutorial career. She recognized me immediately. Miss Whitmore? I haven't seen you since you retired. What's this about a guardianship? Your Honor, my stepson filed fraudulent guardianship paperwork while I was out of the country, claiming I was incompetent due to dementia. I'm here to prove otherwise and request the guardianship be vacated. Judge Yamamoto turned to Bradley and his attorney. Is Ms. Whitmore here and speaking coherently right now? Bradley's attorney, a nervous-looking man named Dennis Porter, stood. Your Honor, my client obtained legal guardianship through proper channels. Miss Whitmore may be having a lucid moment, but the medical evidence clearly shows. Let me see that medical evidence. They handed up Dr. Brennan's report. Judge Yamamoto read it, her expression growing skeptical. This evaluation is dated March 15th. It states Ms. Whitmore is unable to care for herself, can't manage finances, and shows clear signs of advanced Alzheimer's disease. She looked at me. Miss Whitmore, where were you on March 15th? Iceland, Your Honor, photographing the northern lights near Akureyri. I handed up my passport, photos with timestamps and hotel receipts. Judge Yamamoto reviewed them silently. Dr. Brennan claims he conducted a comprehensive neurological evaluation on March 15th. Yet Miss Whitmore has documented proof she was in another country on that date. She looked at Bradley's attorney. Counselor, can you explain this discrepancy? Dennis Porter looked at Bradley, who was suddenly very interested in his shoes. Your Honor, perhaps the date there may have been a clerical error. A clerical error that just happens to place the evaluation on a date when Miss Whitmore was 4,000 miles away? Judge Yamamoto's voice was ice. Mr. Porter, I am going to give you one chance to withdraw this guardianship voluntarily before I refer this matter to the district attorney for criminal prosecution. Bradley stood up. Your Honor, I was trying to help. Victoria travels all the time. She's alone. She forgets things. I thought she needed protection. So you had her declared incompetent, took control of her finances, and liquidated $2.2 million of her assets. Judge Yamamoto was reading from the financial documents Margaret had submitted. And where did that money go? Investments. Proper management. Investments in accounts under your name? A new Tesla? A down payment on a $800,000 house? Judge Yamamoto looked at Bradley with open disgust. This isn't protection. This is theft. She banged her gavel. The guardianship is vacated immediately. Mr. Whitmore, you are ordered to return all funds to Miss Whitmore's accounts within 72 hours. I'm referring this case to the Multnomah County District Attorney for criminal investigation. You're also ordered to have no contact with Miss Whitmore. Court is adjourned. But I wasn't done. After the hearing, I did something Bradley probably wasn't expecting. I went to his house, the one he bought with my money. I knocked politely.
His girlfriend Amber answered, Miss Whitmore?
What are you? I need Bradley's laptop. The one he uses most often. I don't think, Amber, Bradley stole $2.2 million from me. He's being criminally investigated. If you know anything about this fraud and you obstruct justice, you become an accessory. Do you want to go to prison to protect him? Her face went pale.
He said you gave him that money. He said you wanted him to invest it. He lied.
And if he told you to lie for him, you need to think very carefully about your next move. She looked back into the house, then at me. He's not here. He went to his lawyer's office. His laptop is on the kitchen table. May I see it? She let me in. Bradley's laptop sat open, password screen visible. Do you know his password? She hesitated, then nodded. She typed it in. The browser history was still open. I photographed every page. Searches for how to get power of attorney without consent, doctors who will sign disability paperwork, conservatorship fraud penalties, countries with no extradition, and one particularly damning search. How long before dementia patient dies? I showed Amber the screen. Did you know about this? Her hand covered her mouth. Oh my God, he said you were sick and you'd agreed? I'm not sick. I never agreed. He forged everything. I took more photos. Amber, you need to cooperate with the investigation. If you help prosecute Bradley, you might avoid charges yourself. The DA's office prosecuted Bradley for elder fraud, forgery, theft, and financial exploitation. Bradley took a plea deal, 7 years in prison. Restitution of $2.2 million plus interest and penalties. Permanent restraining order preventing him from ever contacting me. Again, Dr. Brennan lost his medical license for medical fraud. Bradley's attorney, Dennis Porter, was referred to the state bar for ethics violations for filing paperwork he should have known was fraudulent, and I got my money back. Every dollar plus 3 years of compounded interest. The thing about guardianship fraud that haunts me is how easy it was for Bradley to almost get away with it. One forged signature, one corrupt doctor. one court filing while I was out of the country. If I'd been less sharp, less connected, less knowledgeable about the legal system, I could have lost everything. If I hadn't been a former federal prosecutor who knew how to build a case, who knew judges, who understood court procedures, I might still be incompetent while Bradley lived in his stolen house. Thousands of older adults face this every year. Their children, caregivers, or relatives declare them incompetent, take their assets, and control their lives. Many never escape because they don't have the resources or knowledge to fight back. I got lucky. I had the skills. I had the connections. I had the evidence. But I shouldn't have needed luck. The system should protect people. Instead, it often enables their exploitation. My name is Victoria Whitmore. I'm a 68-year-old retired federal prosecutor. I speak 3 languages. I travel independently. I manage complex finances. And my stepson declared me incompetent so he could steal my life savings. He's in prison now. I'm in Iceland again, this time photographing the midnight sun. And every time someone asks why I'm traveling alone at my age, I tell them this story. Because elder fraud is real. Guardianship abuse is real. And the best defense is awareness. Bradley thought I was an easy target, a wealthy older woman who traveled alone. He didn't know I was a prosecutor who'd sent dozens of fraudsters to prison. He learned that the expensive way, 7 years in federal prison expensive, $2.2 million in restitution expensive, permanent criminal record expensive, and me? I'm living my best life, traveling, photographing, managing my own finances, making my own decisions, fully competent, fully independent, fully victorious. Because the only thing Bradley succeeded in was proving that underestimating someone based on their age is a mistake. Some of us have spent our entire careers learning how to destroy people who commit fraud. And we don't forget how, even at 68, especially at 68,